Mouse versus pen. It's somewhat of a controversial subject, I have to admit, because if you go check out different forums online, you might see different discussions on it, and it almost appears like it's a discussion between Mac versus PC, Canon versus Nikon, and we all know how severe those discussions can be. This is not as severe, but it still is a debate. That's why I think it's a bit controversial. And beyond personal preference, I will also try to provide you with some, I would say, factual differences between mouse and pen. You know, they say that pen is mightier than the sword. Well, I guess the natural question would be, is the pen mightier than the mouse? In my opinion, yes. There is something that makes it better when doing dodging and burning. And what that is something I'll try to explain throughout the course of this video. And of course, the logical question many people ask is, what if I don't have a graphic tablet? Can I still use my mouse to do dodging and burning? And the answer is, of course not. Don't be ridiculous. There's no way you can use your mouse to do dodging and burning. Relax, I'm just kidding. Don't panic. Yes, of course, you can use your mouse to do everything you need and come up with the finished product, you know, the dodge and burn type of image. It's gonna look fabulous. And in fact, I have seen people who use mouse to produce final results and people who use tablets to produce final results, and really doesn't have anything to do with the hardware device itself. It's more to do with the actual user, the retoucher. So don't worry. Yes, you can use your mouse and you can achieve the same type of results. But you also might ask, which one to use? That is the question, right? Mouse or pen and tablet? Well, for one thing, tablet can do pretty much everything that a mouse can. On the other hand, mouse can't do exactly everything that a pen and tablet can. And this, of course, is in the context of dodging and burning. What is the big difference? Well, the main difference between the actual feel, and that's personal preference, but the main characteristic, the main hardware difference is that pen and tablet are pressure sensitive. They react to tilt and rotation and some other stuff, but mainly the biggest difference is within the pressure sensitivity. Also, let's take a look at some of the differences between graphic tablet and mouse. This is my humble opinion and my experience. If you're like me and when you were a kid you were doing all sorts of drawing on pen and paper, then graphic tablet, pen actually for use with graphic tablet makes a lot more sense because it simulates that which you are used to. On the other hand, mouse is just a pointing device. It's a point and click on and off type of device. They're both hardware input devices. They both control your cursor on screen, but they do work in a bit of a different way. So, and because of this is also type of a personal preference. It can seem that graphic tablet provide more precision when working with something organic. You know, when I need to work on my applications, I need to browse the internet when I'm doing all sorts of multitasking, then mouse is the device of choice for me. But on the other hand, if I'm doing something organic like painting or drawing or dodging and burning, then graphic tablets is something I prefer. You cannot deny that graphic tablet is pressure and tilt sensitive, while mouse is not. At least no mouse that I know of. And this does make a bit of a difference when dodging and burning, and I will show you what that means. Tilt sensitivity, that's not as important, but it can be useful. Less noise and constant clicking noise, well, that's an interesting one. Can you imagine how many pores there is on a human face? Just one human face. Has to be in the thousands, right? And when you have 4 images to work on per day throughout the month, every week, this is your career, this is your job, this is what you're doing. It's just click, 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 click. It can be quite annoying sometimes. With graphic tablets, you don't have that problem. Occasionally you can hear some scratching noise when you really press it hard, but for the most part it doesn't bother you. The noise is almost not there. And when you're using mouse on that kind of marathon, it can be a bit tiresome. And what I mean exactly, I'll show you in the next slide. You see, when you're using your mouse, and most of you are, you have to press with your finger on the button to make some kind of an effect on screen, right? If you want to paint on a pore, you have to click. Then if you want to paint on some other place, you have to let go and click again. When you're doing this on thousands of pores, that's quite a lot of clicks. And even though you can adjust certain settings with your Photoshop to not make too much of an impact when going from one pore to the other, it does leave some kind of a mark because you are painting as long as you're holding your mouse button down. And all of the effort is done with just one finger. That can be quite tiresome over time. On the other hand, if you're using your graphic tablet, like the one you see here on the image, that's Intuos 4, medium size, it has, I believe, 2048 levels of pressure sensitivity. And you can even adjust certain settings within Photoshop to make that sensitivity even more pronounced. That means that when you want to apply an effect on an image to do some type of dodging and burning, you really have to apply just a gentle amount of pressure. And when you want to work on another port right next to it, all you have to do is just rest your hand, nothing more. So over time, it's a lot less taxing on your hand, on your finger especially. And also you're not using just one finger, you're using your entire hand. And that's distribution of the effort, right? Well, to conclude the entire video, all I have to say is that it doesn't matter if you're using your pen and tablet or if you're using your mouse. It's not the weapon that I'm afraid of, it's the person who wields it, right? That's what they say, and it's the same principle here. As long as you can achieve the end results, it really doesn't matter. Although you might take under consideration the things that I said about advantages when using your pen and tablet. It is a bit of a investment. It does cost a bit to buy that, especially better types of tablets on the market. But I would encourage you, if this is your career, this is something that you're going to be doing, if you're a professional retoucher or photographer doing its own retouching, then I would highly encourage you to at least try out pen and tablet, give it some time to get used to it, and then compare it to using your mouse. Many people have stayed on pen and tablet, including myself, and I wouldn't go to use mouse on any type of dodging and burning project. I couldn't imagine myself doing it. It would take me forever. Not all of you go through the same process. Some try pen and tablet, but then they switch back to mouse because they just can't get used to it. I can understand those people as well. So the best way for you to make that kind of decision is to take into consideration what I just explained, borrow, buy, license, whatever the case might be. Just get yourself a tablet and try it out for 1 week, 2 weeks, then see what works for you personally. That is my conclusion.